So you want to live off grid. Last March, my son and I, we moved out here into this little place I bought in the woods, and when we got here it was about 10 o'clock at night, and it was raining and cold, and we crawled up into an old abandoned trailer over here and stayed the next couple of days. And on the third night we slept right here where I'm sitting, and we got frost on us, so I knew it was time to get us a structure. I had to think long and hard about what the best way to do that was, and I'd done a lot of research. I was going to go with a dome building, but at that point we didn't have, anything to keep us out of the cold and out of the rain, and so I ended up buying one of those portable buildings, and that's what we ended up making into our home. And I'll show that in some of these later videos, but right now I just want to tell you that you can do this. We did it, and we're just ordinary people, and we've learned a lot of things along the way about how to live off the land and how to live off grid, and we'd like to share some of those with you. So I'm going to do a video series on that called So You Want to Live Off Grid. It seems like as much planning as I did, I still kind of fell short, and some of the ideas that I had fell through the cracks. But nature has a way of forcing you to do the things that you would do at some point. So procrastination is not really an option out here. I would never had to go sleep in that camper for the first couple days if I had planned a little better than I did. And part of the reason why things happened the way they did wasn't just planning. Some of it had to do with the financial situation I had during that period in my life. But you got to remember that when you start to do this homesteading process, the first and most important thing you can do is pick out the best land that suits you and your family, and allows you to be able to do the things that you need to do to have some kind of sustainability. I got real lucky, I guess. I don't really want to use the word luck, but the piece of land that we were able to obtain seemed to have everything that we needed, and that was the start for a successful homesteading operation. One of the things that was important to me when I was choosing out the land was water, and it should be first and foremost on everybody's list. You need to know where your water's coming from. Not only do I have the St. Francis River down there, which is at flood stage, as you can see, but I also managed to find a piece of property that had a well. And the well was not operational, but nevertheless, the well had already been dug, and we can use a drop bucket, which works really well for our needs presently. So, food, shelter, and water, those are the things. And so, have you got water, which we seem to have an abundance of here, then that's half the battle, in my opinion. But having a nice place to lay your head, especially when it's cold, that's fantastic. Another thing we were fortunate to get when we got this land was an abundance of fruit trees, nut trees, berries, stuff like that, and it's really made a big difference. Also, an abundance of things like dandelion and plantain, and even wild carrots. And so there was a lot of things that we could harvest right off the land without having to plant and go with that. So that's another thing you might want to consider when you're choosing the land that you're going to build your dream homestead location on. Another thing you may want to consider when purchasing land is what kind of natural things grow in that environment or available in that environment for building materials. In this case, I have lots of rocks around here, and though I haven't added them to my cabin yet, I will probably do a veneer with stone to make the structure last a lot longer than it will with just the siding that it has now. Also, there's lots of wood here, and so that's something you're going to have if you live in an environment that has a winter, which we do. We have all 4 seasons here, and so having a lot of timber around is real handy, not only for building, but also to keep you warm in the wintertime, and for those great campfires that all your friends are going to want to see when they come to visit you. In closing, I want to mention some of the things that a lot of people don't think about when they go into homesteading or living off-grid. One of those is the sun. You want to live in a place where you can get plenty of solar to your solar panels, so keep that in mind. Also, you want to think about things like, where am I going to take a bath? We took our baths in the river all summer long, but now it's winter, and we were able to get us a bathtub for that, a clawfoot tub, so you know, we have to heat our water and do the whole rigmarole to get a nice bath, but it's rewarding in the end, believe me. Also, your sanitation, those are things I'm going to cover in later editions of this, so stay tuned.